don't get it. I don't get it. Did you have anything on the Drew McIntyre beating down CM Punk?
The fact that Drew's going above and beyond to keep that going by taking a bracelet, taking pictures with his wife with the bracelet on, saying one big happy family. I just know somewhere down the storyline there's going to be a evasion in someone's house, bro. Like they get that person, someone's dog's going missing.
I wish it would go down the fucking big boss man, Al Snow. He feeds Larry to CM Punk. Yeah. That'd be hilarious. I mean, listen, Drew's killing it.
Yeah.
And I want to tie this actually in too, because I don't think we have much to say on the Drew thing, right?
No.
Yeah. Because Bron Breakker, right? Yeah. Bron Breakker, I don't know what people are telling me in our comments, because we did a video where I was talking about how Bron Breakker doesn't get good reactions during his entrances. Right. And I specifically said his entrances because I acknowledge that when he starts wrestling and they see what he does athletically, people start reacting, crazy, right? But that means that he's not resonating with people. If the next week he comes out and his entrance is flat,
right,
that means he has to work every week to get people to remember him. Mm-hmm. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying is what problem Bron is having. Now look at, for instance, Drew McIntyre. When Drew McIntyre comes out, he's a heel. He gets fucking pops every time. And it's because he comes out and he cuts great promos and he's like interesting. Mm-hmm. He's funny. And I can't believe I'm saying this about Drew McIntyre, but he builds storyline. Like he makes you care about what the fuck he's doing. Right? Bron is having that problem. And I don't know if it's WWE and Triple H that's making him not be, because you were telling me last week that he's pretty funny and that he could cut promos.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen that on the main roster.
The thing about what I'm realizing is this new exec team has not been able to execute a gimmick for their characters. Mm. Regardless if they're going by their real names or reality era or whatever the case is, they're still a character, they're still a gimmick. The thing is, what made a connection to the crowd with a wrestler was the fact of some sort of catchphrase, gimmick, stick that I do that y'all are going to cheer every time for when I walk out. That's what you're looking for.
Right. It's when his music hits, okay, this guy's going to entertain us.
Yeah.
That's why we get excited.
Yeah. Everybody had it, regardless if they're remitters that were trying to get the spotlight for a moment or got the spotlight for a moment, they had a gimmick that worked. For instance, Braun, Strowman, get these hands.
Get these hands, yeah.
When Get These Hands became a thing, he was throwing promos. Not the best promos, but as long as Get These Hands was in it.
It gave him something to work off of. That's all. And they're not giving Braun enough to work off of. No. Except, and this is the thing too.
Not just Braun. Anybody that's been coming up since this deal.
Well, a big part too, I think, might be the fact that they have them working in front of the same crowd every week on NXT. And that crowd, like we've talked to Sports Jedi, who goes there all the time, and they're basically like the ECW crowd, where they all know each other. They all like, they got their favorites. They make these chants up for them, and it's like, I think WWE doesn't realize like half of these chants are really just for that crowd.
Yeah,
that crowd made those chants, and it's like, that's not resonating with the rest of the world. It's just resonating with Orlando.
Right.
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know if they need NXT to start traveling to maybe get in front of different crowds, but they get too comfortable in front of those same people to the point where the wrestlers even know the crowd. They know the fans.
Yeah, NXT should have what is usually the before matches and the after matches. They should actually just make a whole segment for NXT around those times too, so the whole crowd could see them and exhibit, even if it's a promo they're cutting in the beginning.
But again, it goes back to my point that they treat these guys like everybody watches NXT. You know what I mean? And
that's not necessarily true, bro, because we went to a show. Mm-hmm. Well, considering the fact we're not in proximity, but we're in the same state. When we went to SmackDown and Trick Williams came out, that's the SmackDown crowd. Everybody knew, whoop that Trick.
Listen, I think a lot of people don't give South Florida crowds enough credit for being smart crowds.
Yeah.
Like they're not like Florida crowds aren't like, you know, going to a Corpus Christi or like, you know, some middle of the country kind of place where they're just like they're going to watch wrestling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? These are like people down here. They're actually wrestling fans. Like I see people walking around all the time with wrestling t-shirts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they know the behind the scenes things. Like a lot of the people we were sitting around were talking about like, oh, I read on Ringside News and this and that The Rock was supposed to be here tonight.
Yeah.
Like that's why I'm saying I think our wrestling crowds are a little different. Like we're not the same. It's almost like going to a Chicago crowd, but not the same level. But
Gotcha.
You're going to see different kinds of wrestling fans. So, like, Trick, I didn't really know Trick very well before and I still kind of don't.
Yeah.
But I was surprised that crowd like popped for him that much. But my thing is why isn't Bron getting that? Why is he not carrying over the same way? Do you get what I mean? He's not black. He don't have a whoop that Trick.
He doesn't have exactly.
I do want to go off on some of these idiots that were commenting and push back if you think I'm wrong. But a lot of them, because I was like, why isn't he getting? I was just asking the question, right? Why isn't he getting the reactions he should be getting for his entrances? Everybody was going, it's because his music sucks. He needs a siren in it. And I'm like, that's not. And they like these are the fans that we're talking about.
Right.
Putting a siren in his fucking song, which by the way, he does have a siren in his song already, is not going to get him over. Like, yeah, music is important, but that's not what's going to get you over. Sometimes the wrestler gets the music over.
Right.
You get what I mean? It doesn't work that way. It's that people, when they hear the music, they know this guy's coming. It doesn't matter what the music is.
Right.
Like, we could hate it and it could suck, sure. But that's not going to get him over. Steiner math isn't going to get him over.
I'm not going to lie. I've witnessed music getting over a wrestler.
Yes, it can, but not a guy like Bron.
It should be like a guy like Bron.
He's not Joe Hendry. You get what I'm saying?
What was his name? Rude?
Rude.
Bobby Roode? Or was it Ricky Rude? Or?
Oh, Glorious.
Glorious. He wasn't shit. But that song was what had crowds crazy.
Yeah, but that didn't last. It was fun to sing his song, but then like what?
Yeah, but
when the bell rang, he's a fucking bore fest.
Now, mind you, if in their defense, if Bron now had a siren and it was something that tickled their fancies, and now he has the athleticism in the ring as well, he'll be able to keep it. That's
the point I'm trying to make, is that Bron is not the type of guy that gets over because of music. He gets over because of, you know, what we were saying. Like, all right, we were talking about
a good song too. Now he's the full package, baby.
Sure, I'm not saying don't change. I'm not saying keep his music. It's great. Yeah. I'm saying sure, change his music, but just changing his music and putting a siren in it isn't gonna be the fucking thing that gets him over with the crowd. Yeah. Like, the fact is that he gets over with the crowd every night. With his wrestling.
He should get a siren, squash everybody to the point where they have to bring out a stretcher every week. And as he comes out here and he says, call the sirens, because, you know, it's the ambulance. There it is. Boom. And then when that siren hits, them niggas gonna be like, oh, see, there you go.
See, now that's what I'm saying. It's better than give him a siren because his uncle had a siren.
I never even mentioned that.
That's what I'm saying. That's where they're coming from, though, because it's like we had the conversation last week about changing his name to Steiner.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's fucking stupid. Then we got the great
Bronson Steiner,
which I was like, hey, that could fucking work.
Yeah.
Who was that? The Wrestling Observer.
Yeah.
Who
Sports Observer.
Sports Observer. Yeah. But again, I think that's another thing though. Still, just changing his name wouldn't do it. Like, you're just making him the son of another guy.
Yeah.
He'll be another Cody Rhodes. Like, I'm fucking tired of, I'm second generation. Who gives a shit?
On this day, my father and uncle.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck out of here. I don't want to hear
This day in Rick Steiner history. Shut the fuck up. I want to hear about it. And again, Steiner math, right?
Yeah.
I'm fine with him using Steiner math, but he needs to stop relying on the Steiner thing. He needs to build his own character. Look, use the Steiner math and use everything as their thing. Like, this is my base and this is like what I have so that I can try other things. They're not letting him try other things. They're just like, do Steiner math. It works.
What if they're trying to do, like we were saying with this family shit, and they're paying too much homage because someone in the background wants to do too much family to family origin shit?
No, I think it's...
What if in their head, their legacy continues by doing the same shit and let it live on?
That's fine. Continue the legacy all you want. They don't hide that he's a Steiner.
Yeah.
Even though his name is Bron Breakker.
No, but what if he did just do the same moveset to keep on the legacy?
No, listen. All of that is fine. What I'm saying is that's not what's going to get him over. He needs to come out and be a fucking psychopath, even in the promos. He's being a psychopath physically, but they need to add that, like, that level where, listen, this is what got his uncle over, right?
Yeah.
Is that he was a jacked fucking insane dude, right? But then when he cut a promo, his promos were so off the fucking wall that people were like, this is so bad, it's good. And a lot of people don't realize that Scott Steiner really got over in retrospect. Like, that became more of a thing that, like, later on we were like, damn, we kind of took the Scott Steiner promos for granted. He was fucking great. Scott Steiner wasn't, like, known as a great promo guy during the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? That was like something later when the internet got a hold of it. So I think people forget that Steiner didn't resonate like that right away. And also he had a great look and he fucking was part of the NWO. There was like a lot more attached to it. So